Welcome to Allies or Enemies. This time we are talking about Starship Captains, a 1 to 4 player game designed by Peter B. Hoffgaard that puts players in control of a non-brand specific ship that is trekking through the stars with the prime directive of discovery on strange new worlds. As a galactic voyager, you'll be enlisting the next generation of recruits to join your original series of staff. The most enterprising prodigies will work their way up from lower decks to perhaps see all of the outer planets on the map, a group we like to refer to as the Deep Space Nine. It is a fairly quick and surprisingly easy to grasp game of missions and tech and space pirates. And let's take a look right now at just how it works.
Each turn in Starship Captains will start with either activating a room or going on a mission. If you activate a room, you choose a crew member and move them anywhere that matches their color, and then do that action. The 4 basic rooms are the helm, which moves your ship around the map, where you can land on planets with bonuses or go to missions that you can take on a future turn. Weapons, which you use for fighting the space pirates around the board and taking their stuff. Tech, where you gain cards with bonuses including special rooms, abilities, and endgame scoring, as well as form these cool little chain bonuses. And repair, which removes damage. The other thing you can do on your turn is to complete a mission. Here you assign crew to gain valuable mission points and various bonuses, which often include moving around these 3 faction tracks, which gain you more points and other bonuses. Various actions will also get you these badges, which allow you to level up cadets to one of the 3 ensign classes, or level up one of your ensigns to commander, which allows them to take a double turn. As you complete these actions, you move your crew to the back of the line, and when you run out of crew and pass for the round, you push all of your crew members along until only 3 remain in the queue. After 4 rounds, you add up all of your points from missions, faction tracks, cards, and all the various stuff you've collected along the way, and the greatest Starship Captain is named.
Starship Captains is pretty obviously inspired by Gene Roddenberry's famous world, but it certainly doesn't feel like a cheap knockoff. The figures are excellent, with 4 different poses in each color and 5 types in total, or 6 including the robots. The player boards look and feel fantastic and are exceptionally functional, as they basically hold your hand on where to store stuff and how to rotate your crew. The card row with its pre-printed bonuses is clever as well, and the icons are clear and easy to understand across the board. It is all really pleasing and functional. Our few qualms are that the player cardboard ships don't quite match the quality of the figures. Also, we would have loved bags for the pirates and artifact tokens, as you have to flip them all over and then mix them up each game. And the faction track pieces feel a bit cheaper than everything else. But these are all things we can live with, as the pluses far outweigh the few small minuses.
There are a few key points of variability here. The map's set up randomly at the start of each game, with missions that often have very different payouts, and the faction tracks all have a deck of events of which only one will be used each game. Also, the player tech boards are double-sided for a slightly different experience. But the main change will come from the tech cards, as their bonuses and actions will subtly change your choices in ways that snowball throughout the game. For example, if you get a card that lets you gain reds for free or upgrade them on the cheap, you'll likely end up with a crew full of reds, which means you'll be flying all around the map. If you get a card that scores points for pirates, you'll stock up on yellows and blast away, likely gaining a bunch of artifacts that are going to give you bonus actions. It's all kind of a space butterfly effect that isn't obvious at first. However, it should be noted that while these changes will make games feel a bit different, the basics will always remain very much the same. We haven't grown tired of those basics yet, largely because the game is quicker and lighter than you might expect, but it will be interesting to see what the long-term staying power is.
Starship Captains plays for 1 to 4 players, and as Sean just said, it is surprisingly quick. Even with the multiple boards and tech cards with their variable action spaces, this game is remarkably intuitive and turns move fast, which does help it scale pretty well. The game will take about 20-ish minutes per player, and even with a full crew, this isn't the sort of game where players have time to get on their phones or head over to the replicator for some extra fresh guck. There is also surprisingly little interaction. Basically, all of the interaction is passive. Someone taking the planet or card you want, or passing you on one of the tracks, which is fitting, as this star is much more Trek than Wars. There is also a solo mode that has players teaming up with Captain Shadow, who is basically just a bot that refreshes missions and tech cards, and sometimes shoots pirates. It also has the extra twist of having one of the 6 unique passengers that provide an action and change your focus a bit. As far as best score modes go, it is an interesting one, but we would have liked to have a target score or an opponent.
Starship Captains will certainly bring people in with its terrific production and its theme, and that theme really does shine through. This is very much a love letter to all things Star Trek, and it does supply a bit of a sense of boldly going. It is a lighter game than some might expect, however, given the publisher and all the stuff on the table, but that isn't necessarily a negative. We really did like the pace and the fact that you can play it a couple times in a night, but in the early rounds in particular, you may find yourself wishing you could do just a little bit more stuff. It will be interesting to see what sort of audience Starship Captains brings in. Because of the solid iconography and easy rules overhead, it is one that can be introduced to new gamers, but there are also some interesting mechanics here, like the queue, that may appeal to heavier gamers that like to mix in some quicker experiences. But either way, if you want a Star Trek themed experience that plays in about an hour, has some interesting buttons to press, and has a solid production, you may want to make it so. And that is it. Have you played Starship Captains? What did you think? And what is your favorite Star Trek game, either branded or inspired? Please let us know in the comments, and please do also like and subscribe. And hopefully we'll see you all next time for another game.